Welcome back to the shop. My name's Jamie, and today we're going to be working on this grinder. It's a 6-inch powerhouse grinder. It's been in our family for probably 50 years, I would guess, maybe more. We'll do a little research to find out just how old it is, but it is, I've used it. It's been pretty good for grinding some tool bits for the lathe, but it has a bit of a problem where it won't start on its own. It needs to be kind of jump started. If your bench grinder is behaving like this, you likely have a bad starting capacitor. My single phase powerhouse 6-inch does not have a starting capacitor, so it ended up being a bad switch, where the switch had a lot of corrosion and there just was not enough power getting through the switch to power the motor. Also could be it's just bound up. Maybe it has some bearing surfaces that are gummed up, dirty or whatnot, so you might have to take it apart and clean it up. But for me, it ended up being the switch was bad. But here's the rest of the video. I'll walk you through what I did to bring it back to life. But once it's running, it's nice and smooth, but I'd like to get it so that we don't have to jump start it every time. So let's take it apart and see what's inside. Yeah, so it's a powerhouse 6-inch made by McGraw Edison Company, Boonville, Missouri. I was able to make some pretty easy brackets. The angle worked out perfect for, again, cutting, grinding lathe stones. For some reason, I think I've seen this model as a Montgomery Ward version as well, but I'm not sure. So I am not familiar with how to repair these. This is for entertainment purposes only. Hopefully you're entertained, but I am not a professional. I am just trying to fix stuff that's broken. Sometimes I go out and buy those things. Sometimes they're in my own shop. I just need some love. I think it's really important to note here just how well that shaft and that bearing were machined together. There's no ball bearings here. This entire thing is just spinning on that perfect fit. And it only takes a little bit of oil. And there's no wear at all there. It's just really, really well done. This switch being so corroded was probably the primary reason why the grinder wouldn't start. You could barely see the contact surfaces here. So I want to stop here and let you know about this recall. In 1978, the manufacturer of this bench grinder had to issue a recall due to potential shorting of the wires. And as I was putting this together, it did become very clear to me that the wires are just right next to that axle. Now, mine lasted 50 years with no problems, but apparently some of them were rubbing. So I actually went back. I found the recall after I'd done the video. I went back in, took it apart so that I could just make sure the wires weren't going to rub. So the reason why this was recalled is part of the challenge that I had reassembling this the first time is what to do with these wires. And you can see these wires are just floating right around this high-speed spinning wheel. And apparently what would happen is the wires would end up touching. Yeah, it's pretty close there. The wires would end up touching that, you know, grinding out, shorting out, potentially causing a fire hazard. But that's the reason why this was recalled. So I'm gonna try to change the wire routing so that it's a little safer, and it'll be good for another 50 years. So I basically took this wire, and instead of having it wrapped around the bottom of around the spinning axle here, I just brought it up to the top, and we'll plug it in. It's got a neat little push connection, so we'll push it in right there. That'll keep this up to the top, up out of the way of the spinning axle of death. And then this guy here is far enough away, I think he'll be fine. But that is pretty interesting. Didn't expect to see a recall on this when I did some research on it, but interesting nonetheless. Let's get it back together. Another interesting thing is I found it has these oil holes which go right into the bearing surface. So we'll just put a little oil in there. Kind of let it sit, get soaked around. All right, here's a test. Nice. Back in business. As always, thank you for watching my video. I do appreciate it. Consider subscribing and you will get notified when there are upcoming videos. I've got lots of projects coming this summer. See you soon.